A routine traffic stop turns deadly today when an officer shoots a fleeing suspect. We thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Katherina in for Beth Hunt.
And I'm Scott Inman. The shooting happened in Little Rock on Adams Street before noon today, and it spawned a major community response. Upwards of 100 people gathering to find out what happened and even shout at police. We have team coverage tonight, and we begin this evening with Channel 7's Katherina Yancy with what we know about the shooting. Kat.
Good evening. Police say that the black SUV fit the description of a stolen car, so a Little Rock police officer pulled over the car in front of the Madison Heights apartments on Jefferson Street. That's when the driver reportedly got out of the SUV and started running. So he ran down Jefferson Street, then came across Adams, about where I'm standing. He ran through this alley here behind these bushes, and just a few feet away from me is where the officer-involved shooting happened, and Charles Sims witnessed some of it. Let's hear what he had to say.
I didn't see no weapon. I saw the whole incident from the time the guy jumped out the truck. He come all the way down the street, all the way across this parking lot, shoot down this street and hit that alley. As soon as he hit that alley, you heard gunshot. I mean, as soon as he hit the alley.
The officer-involved shooting happened here behind this building at 1110 Adams Street. Sergeant Cassandra Davis says the suspect was about in his 30s and police found a weapon on the scene. The man did die from his injuries, but no one else was hurt.
The officer was transported downtown as routine. He'll be placed on administrative leave. He was not injured during the incident.
Police have not released the identity of the suspect or the police involved in the shooting, but from the beginning, a crowd has been forming here, many of them fueled by emotions because of rumors that they heard that a child was killed. Our Jason Pederson is here off Jefferson Street live, joining us now. Jason, tell me what you have heard by some of those bystanders.
Well, there really aren't any protesters left out here along 12th Street. The crowd, after police left about an hour and 15 minutes ago, slowly dispersed, and now they're gone too. Now, part of the reason there was a large turnout early on was because of misinformation put out on social media. A lot of the early reports had the victim in this police shooting as an 11-year-old boy. That was not true. We learned through the wife of the victim, Shamidia Shelton, that the victim was in fact 26-year-old Dion Williams. Shamidia is here. You said you wanted to add something to what you told me earlier.
The story that the police gave in reference to the truck, my truck, being stolen is so not correct. It was my automobile, and no, it was not stolen, so they couldn't have possibly pulled him over because of a stolen truck.
Now, he was pulled over and he did run. Do you have any idea why he would flee police?
He would probably flee them because he had suspended driver's license.
And he was on parole, and he felt that might violate his parole?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, and I'm sorry for your loss, and I'll visit with you here momentarily. But we were going to get some more information from Police Chief Stuart Thomas when he was, well, take a look at what happened.
Where in the body was he shot?
I don't know.
Did he die here at the scene? We need to get out of here. Okay?
All right, we gotta go.
Now, what you heard there was a bottle exploding. It had been thrown from across the street and landed very near Chief Thomas. Shortly after that, all the police left, and after about an hour, most of the crowd had left as well. Scott.
Jason, we saw that bottle, of course, explode near Chief Thomas, or we heard it. Do we know if anybody was arrested for throwing it?
We didn't see anyone arrested for either shouting obscenities at the police or throwing bottles. That wasn't the only bottle thrown. There were a few others. We didn't see any arrests made. By and large, it was a peaceful demonstration that at times would ebb and flow and get more loud than at other times, but it was a fairly peaceful demonstration here today.
Yeah, and the best news, of course, things have died down behind you now. Jason Pederson live tonight. Our thanks to you.
What started as a traffic stop ends with police shooting and killing a suspect that ran from them. We thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Katherina.
And I'm Scott Inman. The shooting happened in the 1100 block of Adams Street in Little Rock before noon today, and the scene quickly intensified as dozens of upset community members gathered to shout and even throw things at police. Channel 7's Katherina Yancy begins our coverage at 6 with a witness account. Kat.
Good evening. The foot pursuit started on Jefferson Street and then ended up here off of Adams Street, about just more than a block away from where it started. Just across the bushes here from me is where the officer-involved shooting happened. And this is a highly populated area, a lot of gas stations, restaurants, and retail stores. So you can imagine a large crowd gathered to see what was going on. And NAACP members, people from local churches, even SWAT team had to come out here and try and calm people down. But listen to what a witness had to say about how he believed everything played out. At about 11:30, Charles Sims was walking out of the Family Dollar and noticed a black SUV being pulled over in front of Madison Heights Apartments.
As I'm looking to see what's going on, I see a black guy jumps out and he take off running, full sprint. Black police officer take off running right behind him. They come running all the way down 12th Street. They come across this parking lot right here. They come across, run down the street. The black guy runs through the alley as the black police officer is still in pursuit of him. As the young black guy is running, though, he has no gun, no weapon in his hand. He's holding up his pants with one arm with a sack in the other hand, running like this, full throttle, with the police behind him.
Sims says one officer was on foot and a second officer pulled up in a police car. When they got in the alley, he heard gunshots.
There were one gun, 8-9 shots.
A weapon was seen by the officer and a weapon was recovered.
Officer Cassandra Davis says the suspect was pulled over because the car came up as stolen in the computer system.
Our officer did fire at least one shot. He did strike the victim, killing the victim.
Among the officers in SWAT, a chaplain, the police chief, and prosecuting attorney were on the scene, where hundreds of people had gathered.
It's a sad day. It really is.
The officer involved is on administrative leave, and investigators right now are working to determine if the suspect did shoot his gun. Scott and Christina, back to you.
Katherina, Yancy live for us tonight, and we now want to turn to Jason Pederson for the other side of the story. He's also live at the scene near today's shooting.
Yeah, Jason joins us now. You've been there at 12th and Adams, 12th and Jefferson, that area, all day watching that crowd gather. It got rather large and rather tense at points today.
Yeah, it did. The crowd, as you can see behind me, is now gone. There was a lot of concern on the part of police about what that crowd might do earlier today. Of course, there was a lot of concern on the part of the crowd regarding what police, or at least one police officer, had already done. There was a lot of misinformation earlier in the day about the age of the victim in this case. Social media had the age anywhere from preteen to early teenager. In fact, there were people down here with signs saying, "Stop killing our kids." But one of the members of the crowd, which probably approached 200 when it was at its peak, was Shamidia Shelton. She says the man shot by police was her husband, 26-year-old Dion Williams. She says Williams was driving her black Suburban. She says it wasn't stolen. He was driving her black Suburban a short distance here on 12th Street when he was pulled over by police. We asked her about that. To the best of your knowledge, why would he flee police?
Because he was driving on suspended license and he was on parole. And they have so many new laws now regarding those suspended licenses. He was just scared, is what I could see. He had been just scared.
Tell me a little bit about Dion.
Dion, he was 26. He was just recently released from being incarcerated. And that's not nothing bad, but he's a great father. We have one child together, but I have 6 other children. And he takes care of all 6 of my kids like they're his own.
Now, we also asked Ms. Shelton if the race of the officer who shot and killed her husband made a difference to her. And she had some things to say about that, and we'll include her comments tonight on Nightside. Reporting off 12th Street in Little Rock, Jason Pederson. Let's send it back to the studio.
Jason, thanks very much. A Little Rock man trying to escape police is shot to death by an officer, and a crowd of upset neighborhood residents lined the streets earlier today in tense protest. Good evening and thanks for watching. I'm Scott Inman.
And I'm Christina Munoz. Police released tonight that the suspect had a handgun along with an unknown amount of narcotics after leaving his vehicle and running from police. But one of his close friends does not believe police had a reason to kill him. Channel 7's Justin Lewis is live at the police station with new details on the person that was killed. Justin?
The man killed in today's officer-related shooting is 26-year-old Dion Lamar Williams. Now, a former girlfriend told us today that he was just paroled from the Arkansas Department of Corrections in May. So today I made a few calls around to find out a little bit more about Williams' past run-ins with law enforcement.
Give me one reason to shoot anybody not coming back. This ain't a war.
This Little Rock crime scene took center stage with a powerful protest after residents learned an officer killed a man.
You know, stop killing our young men. We sick and we tired. We tired. We deserve the right.
Some went as far to throw things at officers. That's when police decided it was time to get the crowd to go home. The man shot and killed is 26-year-old Dion Williams, who was paroled in May from the Arkansas Department of Corrections.
He's a great father. We have one child together, but I have 6 other children, and he takes care of all 6 of my kids.
Shamidia Shelton tells us she was in a relationship with Williams, although he's been in prison for the past 2 years, convicted of robbery and labeled as a habitual offender for manufacturing and distributing illegal drugs. It's perceived the large crowd stems from the verdict in the Trayvon Martin case, with another African-American shot dead. In this instance, a witness account says it was a black officer who killed Williams, which could change some harsh feelings.
The race of the officer doesn't matter to me. Now, if it would have, and don't take this the wrong way, if it would have been a white officer, then yeah, that probably would have mattered to me.
Shelton added that she believes Williams started fleeing because he was driving on a suspended license. Now, police released this evening that they found a handgun along with an unknown amount of narcotics during Williams' arrest. But for now, live in Little Rock, Justin Lewis, let's send it back to you.
All right, Justin, thank you for your work today.